Hello everyone. So I wanted to make a video about walking upstairs because I actually really enjoy walking upstairs, and I think that most people probably don't. I think there's this thing about arriving at stairs and going, oh God, I've got to take the stairs, or like, I've got to go get in the lift or whatever. But walking upstairs can be really good fun, and it can be an amazing opportunity in your day-to-day just to get a little bit of exercise in, and actually a little bit of strength training. And strength training in particular is fantastic for your body, for actually a sense of ease in your body. Being strong does away with those sort of little niggles, little uncomfortable things which pinch at you and divert your attention away from what you want to be doing, and sort of kill the enjoyment of being in a body. So I thought it would be really cool to teach you how to walk up the stairs. Now, obviously, right now I'm sat on the floor. So first thing we're going to need to do in order to walk up the stairs is get up. So I'm going to get up in a moment. But beyond that, the first thing I want to do in this video is teach you actually a method for inhabiting your body, a method for driving your body. We're going to look at standing and then walking, and then we shall progress to walking up the stairs and the amazing opportunity this can be for strength development and for a bit of enjoyment in your day. So with all of that said, we're going to crack on. Okay, so here we are out and about, and we're going to get going. So I want you to put your ankles directly under your hip bones. This will be a little bit closer together than you're used to standing, okay? Ankles directly under hip bones. Then imagine that behind your belly button there's a little yellow ball. There's a little yellow ball behind your belly button, sort of suspended, perched between your hip bones. And now I want you to take control of that little yellow ball. Oh, we've got a little guest. Take control of that little yellow ball. Draw in, hold it with the front of your abdomen, with the sides, and with the back. And let yourself come up really nice and tall. Let your shoulders come down your back and long through the back of your neck. And this is going to create your neutral standing posture. From this position, we're on balance. We're in a good position to move off and do other things, okay? Let it come right to the top and then kind of just relax into it. Now, if you imagine around your feet, if you draw an imaginary red chalk line, okay, and that's going to come up around you like a box, like a cube. You're in a red cube, okay, and as long as this little yellow ball is inside of the cube, you'll remain on balance and you'll be in that good position to move off and do something else. And you can test this by moving that little yellow ball around. You can move it to the edge and feel your feet will catch, and if you take it far enough out, then you will actually fall over and you have to start again and come back and recenter yourself, or you have to move something to upright yourself. And this is sort of like the principle of balance in the human body, but we can influence it to create movement, okay? And so if this is standing, then what we can do to begin walking is come here, draw into the ball. So drawing in, I'm holding this ball. I'm imagining like I've got a canary or a little bird, so I don't want it to escape, but I'm also not squeezing too hard. If I just move it forwards to the edge of that little red box and then out, and then I can start to move. And this is a completely sort of organic way to begin moving in your body, a way which is you've taken control, you've decided what's going to happen, and then you deliberately take action. And that's sort of going to be the key for moving forward when we go and find some steps in a moment. This mode of being in your body, of taking control, and then being very deliberate with how you use it in normal day-to-day actions. Feeling the ground push you up, having taken control of yourself in the center, and then being deliberate with what you do. So from here, we're going to learn some sort of technical bits about how to actually use your legs, and then we're going to get walking up some steps. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next part now. So this walking is all well and good until we encounter something like this, a step, which requires us to actually lift the leg up. Now, this is where quite a lot of people will do something like this. They'll go, oh, like that. And you make this sort of big thing out of this little obstacle. And that's all that stairs are, is like multiple little obstacles, okay? That we can sort of just influence our way up and also take a little bit of an opportunity, as I said, to develop some strength. So we've got a little bit of technical knowledge for this, which I'll move on to in a moment. But to begin with, I arrive at the step, okay? I'm already drawn into my little yellow ball. I've already got control. I'm walking around. I'm having a nice time enjoying the green. Okay. But now, what to do? Because I can't just keep rolling forwards. Okay. I've got to put the one leg up. So rather than changing this posture, keep it built, rise up in the knee like this. But you see that it's possible for me to move this leg in complete isolation of changing anything else. Everything else can stay the same and the leg can come up just like this. Okay, easy, placed on there. Then move the little yellow ball forwards. We've got that same principle. There's this red chalk line around my feet, and my feet don't just have to be like this. This red chalk box will change shape depending on where my feet are. So now I've got this sort of rectangle. Right now, the red chalk line is kind of going like this, up around here, if you can imagine. The little yellow ball is over this foot. But I can move the little yellow ball over this foot, then use some strength, extend the leg, and I'm up on the wall. And that might look like a very sort of, over the top way to take a step. But if you can incorporate that action into the way that you go about going up steps, usually, I promise you it's going to change your life on stairs. Okay. So if I was walking forwards, arrive, drawn into the little yellow ball, the foot is up, just keep moving the ball forwards and your body will take you up and onto the step. Okay. And now if I did that in motion, drawn into the little yellow ball, drawn into the little yellow ball, it's just moving forwards, shum, nice and easily, your body will do that for you. Now, there is some strengthening that is required, okay? And that's where we're going to get into a little bit of technical detail, which we'll look at right now. Okay, so we're going to use this book for this little bit of information. This is Functional Training for Sport by Michael Boyle. And the bit that's in this book that I'm really interested to talk about is the role of the hamstring and the glute in opening the leg. Now, what he describes it as is the hamstring is a hip extensor. A hip extensor, okay? So that means that this angle of the hip is opened by the hamstring, contracting. Now, another little detail, muscles exist in a relationship with each other that's called an agonist and an antagonist relationship. Muscles can only contract. They can only go like this. And so in order to go like this, to open up, another muscle has to contract and kind of pull them open again. They exist in this relationship that they know when one is being contracted, the other gets a signal that it's allowed to relax. Okay? It's easiest to see with a bicep and a tricep. To close this angle, the elbow angle, contracting the bicep. Okay? But then to open it again, the tricep has to contract, which is on the underside of the arm. Okay? Now it's quite easy to see there because they're one on top of the other, not so complicated, but your hips have a lot of muscles involved in them, a lot of muscles coming up from the leg, a lot of muscles coming down from the back and the abdomen. And so the relationships are a little bit more sort of not complicated, but densely packed, shall we say. So in order for this hip angle to open up, we can put the work into the hamstring and the glutes. And now that's really a powerful thing because most people aren't walking with the hamstrings and their glutes, but these are big, powerful muscles which are built to do this. They're built to open up your hip. They're built to propel you forwards or upwards. So let's go find another step and we shall see more about how this relationship works in the hips. Okay, so let's have a look at this again. If I am here, I'm about to go up on the wall. I've closed the hip angle. That's a key thing from what we've just learned about this situation. The hip angle is closed. I've got all of the little yellow ball and everything established in my mind. And now as I move it forwards, when the weight comes on top, that's where if you're struggling with stairs, you might start to feel a bit uneasy. Like, oh gosh, I need to support myself more. And this is where you can recruit the power of your hamstrings and your glutes, okay? So you're in this position. You might be a bit closer to the wall than that. In this position, about to move forwards. Maybe the step's not this high, but this articulates my point quite nicely, okay? Forwards, 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 forwards. And then here, there's this point where the hamstring meets the glute muscle. It's like it gets hoiked up and in, like that, okay? The glutes come in and underneath, tuck in and underneath, really strong and powerful, okay? And that really will add some acceleration up. What we can then add to there, if we have another step that we go to, is that we can bring up the other leg. I showed you before how I can be standing here, this leg can come up and nothing else changes. Well, if I arrive here, I've engaged, boom, I can use that as a moment to drive up the second leg. The driving of the second leg will actually also add momentum to the movement, which takes some of the work off the hamstring and the glute. That means that more power but less weight, which just easier, much more easy to get up. The thing is not so heavy, you don't need so much power to lift it, okay? So again, we're drawn in, we're in momentum. I'm using the dynamics of the position plus my strength to help me make the job more efficient and easy. So I'm moving forwards, feeling that engagement and chucking the knee high, and that will bring me up on to the wall and then eventually to the next step, because then I would just be in this position. And again, it swaps. I'm then driving and bringing this leg up. I'm going to put a little bit of a sort of workout at the end so that you can work on the mechanics of your stepping up and strengthen these muscles which are going to be involved. But now we're going to go and find some actual stairs and see this in motion and see how your posture can transform and how you can really turn stairs into an opportunity to be getting brilliantly strong. Okay, well, let's have a go. Okay, let's take everything we've learned and just put it all together. So these are quite nice, like small steps. They're not that high up, but what I would advise you to do, once you've had a look at the workout section at the end as well, is to find some steps and literally just practice this pattern, okay? So you've established your position. You're gonna bring the one leg, move the ball forwards, engage, swing the other one up, okay? So you're like that. Draw in, move the ball forwards, engage in the glutes and hamstrings, bring the ball up. And that action is really key. So you can see, as the weight comes onto the foot, I'm engaging and driving the other knee up. Forwards, engage, drive the other knee up. Forwards, engage, drive the other knee up. Now it looks all mechanical and robot-y when I do it like that, but if I show it to you sort of in fluid motion, it's just really sort of smooth and easy, okay? In fact, when I'm working like this, it makes me want to take them two at a time because I can really get some power and drive. But yeah, and that's what it can do for you. And that's where you turn it into a bit of a workout and it can start to be fun. Because if you can drive your leg to there, well, why not actually take the steps two at a time? Every opportunity you get, you can practice this pattern, practice this action, and soon you'll be going up all of your steps two at a time and getting a really good glute and hamstring workout, which is just so good for your posture. But okay, so we're now going to move on into the workout section of the video so that you can learn a little bit more about how you can activate these muscles and strengthen them before you get out and about and practicing that movement pattern. Okay, we are back inside and it's time for the workout section. So the first exercise that we're going to do, these are called posterior tilt glute bridges. Now the posterior tilt bit refers to your pelvis. You need to imagine your pelvis as a box which can rotate in two directions. It can rotate anteriorly and it can rotate posteriorly. I suppose it could actually rotate the other way as well, but forget about that for now. Anterior, so this is if you arch up your back like this, your hips have gone that way. And then we've also got posterior, where it comes in the other direction. Now, if you keep doing that, keep rotating it, it can lift up and away from the ground. And now look, I'm just going to keep rotating it, keep rotating, keep rotating. And now I'm going to think about pressing my hips up into the air. At the same time, I'm pulling my rib cage down and in, whilst pressing this up. And this gives me a fire up in my upper hamstrings and my glute muscles, okay? The act of pressing and pulling down at the same time whilst rotating. Then one vertebrae at a time, you bring your hips back down. Now you're gonna go for 10 reps on that, okay? Rotate and up with a bit of power, rib cage in and down, up and down, up. And after 10, you're gonna hold for 15 seconds, okay? Holding really strong, building that intensity, getting stronger and stronger. And then you're gonna roll down into your second set. You can do another 10. There's already gonna be quite a bit of fatigue in there. So it's gonna be harder and harder this time. But I want you to keep building that position, strong hips up, rib cage in, and really get that fire up and activation in the hamstrings and the glutes. And you can go for either 2 sets, or if you really want to push it out, then 3 sets. And that's going to be the first exercise in your hamstring and glute activation sort of little workout circuit. Okay, this next exercise is called a reverse Nordic lean. So you want to kneel ideally on something cushy. So we're going to bring our hips in and underneath. Imagine that last exercise you were doing, the posterior tilt glute bridges. Engage your hamstrings, engage your glutes, suck in your abdomen. Imagine the little yellow ball, draw in around it so you get a nice strong line through here. Now I'm going to press into the cushion, pushing in as I start to lean back, okay? I'm going to find a place where I can feel a sort of stretch and hard work in the front of my quads. Now you mustn't sit like this. Keep those hips pressing forwards as you lean back, and you're going to find that place of work in the front of the quads. For you, find a 7 out of 10 difficulty. Now, even if you're just there, and that might be really, really hard, that's where you're going to hold, okay? You find your 7 out of 10 difficulty, you're pressing in with your feet, drawing in, and you can push with these arms as well to help you. And then you're going to hold in that position for 20 seconds. After your 20 seconds, you come back up, rest for 40 seconds, and you're going to go around this one 3 times, okay? And so there's a reverse Nordic leans. So we looked at the back. This actually emphasizes opening up the front of the hip and extending the quad. But that's your second exercise in the circuit, and now we're going to move on to the last exercise. Okay, here's our last exercise. Now, this one may be one that you have to actually progress a little bit over time, okay? We're going to start in our drawn into the little yellow ball, nice position, and then we're just going to make as though to sit, like if you're going to sit on a chair, but keep your shin vertical. So don't let your knees go forwards at all. Shin vertical, okay? Sitting back, and then you're just going to move one leg behind and come to a kneeling position, okay? Then move the little yellow ball forwards, drive in the glutes and the hamstring on the leg which is here. Boom, the leg comes up. Back to here, sit, keep the legs vertical, bring this back, move the ball forwards, drive, leg comes up, okay? Now, if you're not able to go all the way down in the first instance, just try sitting back, vertical shins, bring the leg to there, come back and forwards. You can still learn to, if you move, drive that hip. And that's really going to be the thing which transfers over into the walking up the steps that we did earlier. This is like an exercise where you also get to practice the movement pattern, okay? So what you would do for those, if you can do the full thing, then you're going for 10 reps on each side, okay? So sitting, back here, drive and up, back here, drive and up. Maybe you can blend them together again, but again, let's keep it simple. So actually we'll step back together. Sit, vertical shins, back, drive up, woo, reset, a little bit of balance, okay, reset, driving up, okay, and then you go for 10 on the other side. And what I want you to do is after however many you've done, even if you're only coming to here, you're going to spend 10 seconds on number 10 balancing like this. So say I've done, this is 9, and then here comes 10. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay? Whilst you're doing that, literally like, imagine you've got your own hand, like you're pressing this up and in. You're holding yourself up in that position with the hamstring and the glute. Using that to hold the little yellow ball. That's what gives you the balance and stability. You can do this exercise next to a wall if you need to, okay? So you'd sit back, boom, up to here, okay? And those are going to be your 3 exercises which are going to help you towards developing your walking up the steps. And now I will move into my conclusion. Okay, hello. Thank you so much for coming along on this video with me. I really wanted to do this one. I thought it would be great fun to learn how to walk up the stairs and turn it into a little bit of a workout or exercise in your life where, as I said, we're gaining strength, we're getting a little bit of exercise, but actually you're learning how to move your body better. And I really like this idea that then every step of your life is a step that is making you healthier, making you stronger. So you're literally, sorry, I'm cleaning my flat at the same time. You're literally on a path where the steps make you stronger, help you to enjoy your body more. And it's so not about arriving somewhere, you know, because the taking the steps is actually what is the thing that is making your body stronger and making it more enjoyable, and taking more steps is what makes it even more powerful and even more enjoyable. So I thought it was really, really cool. I liked the metaphor, and I wanted to give you something simple that you could do from home, from any kind of start level. But really, that drawing into that little yellow ball, even if you weren't going to do the stuff up the steps, that can make such a massive difference to the experience of your body. I promise you, you'll immediately feel lighter and more centered in yourself. Okay. If you would like more specific help with your health and fitness, then I am an online coach. I'm also an in-person coach in London. And if you'd like me to help you with anything related to your movement or your strength, or your moving around the world, then you can send me an email or message me on my Instagram. So that's jamie@coachjamie.co.uk for the email, or @_coach.jamie_ for my Instagram. I coach calisthenics, gymnastics, and flexibility as my main area, but I really like helping anyone who has a movement goal or a movement objective, wants to enjoy their body more. It's kind of why I made this video. You know, it's not explicitly calisthenics or gymnastics, but it's movement, and it's something everybody does, and it's an opportunity for getting stronger, for enjoying your body more. And I think that if you can transform something which in your life might have been an obstacle, or a thing which when you arrived at it sort of brought up dread or difficulty, and turn that into something that you are geared up for, that actually you're looking for the steps now, then that just feels like a good thing. That's turning the world into a playground, and that's what these bodies are for. They're for playing and having fun. And I would love to help you have more fun and enjoy your body more. So if you would like some help, then feel free to shoot me a message. But for now, I hope you enjoyed the video. Give me a like, give me a subscribe if you did, and I'm sure that I'll make more. I already know what my next one is. I'm going to make a video about pistol squats next, even though I actually hate pistol squats, which is funny, but I'm going to teach you how to do them. The next video is going to be all about how to do a pistol squat without doing a pistol squat. Okay, that's a little sneak preview for you. So I will look forward to seeing you in that one.